What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Forza Horizon 5 here in the autumn season of series number 9. Today we're driving around in our Lamborghini Countach that we unlocked in the last video doing the oldies but goodies trial event. So if you haven't seen that or you're having issues, definitely go check that out. But today we're going to be jumping in to the seasonal championships, and we're going to start by taking some classic muscle cars off-road into the dirt. So let's take a look at those. The one we're going to start out with here is orange and blue to get that 2013 Aston Martin Vantage S. Our class restriction here is B Class 700, and it has to be a classic muscle car. So I've got 3 of those set up. Let's go ahead and jump over here, take a look at the races, and then we'll take a look at our first car. All right. So we have sprint, circuit, sprint. All right, here we go with the Bajío Trail and into our first car. So we're using the 1970 Chevy Corvette ZR1 that we unlocked in the last season. But the share code for the tune, the name of the tune, and name of the tuner will be up on the screen now if you want to check this out. I do give you all the name of the tune and name of the tuner just because if the tuner goes in and edits the tune at all, whether it be something as small as tire pressure changing, it does change that share code. So if you cannot find it from the share code, definitely make sure you are trying to search from the name of the tune or name of the tuner when you're looking at the car. So we're gonna see what this thing can do. This is actually a stock car or color rather, this green, and it is absolutely beautiful. I really dislike the new norm of car colors from the manufacturers. We've moved from being very bright colored cars and very fun colored cars into very neutral kind of tones, and I'm not a big fan of that. And I mean, I really didn't notice that until somebody had brought that up, and then just driving down the highway, I was like, oh yep, there's silver, there's black, there's white, and then occasionally you'll get a red or a blue, but just not what it used to be back in the olden days. So but we're up into first in our Corvette. Man, this really just hurts taking just such a classic car off into the dirt and jumping it and everything, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Again, I love this green, and I mean, this green, I would even consider it more of a, I wouldn't say a neutral color, but you don't get too many green cars nowadays. And I don't know, I just like it. Let me know what you think down below. Obviously neutral colors are more slick, right? They're more modern looking. I just, there's like a fine line between like 90s tuner culture and then like before that, where you've got all the classic muscle cars that were, brightly colored and, just really bright reds and stuff like that. So bright yellows, really light, bright blues, just good stuff. But this thing is absolutely, did we get that checkpoint? I don't know how we got that checkpoint, but this thing is eating up the drivatars very well, so I'm very happy with that. It does have off-road tires, so these off-road sections are going to be much easier than the on-road sections. And that's where, we got or caught up to the drivatars was once we get off of the asphalts and onto the dirt section. But that's to be expected with these off-road tires. But we are hard charging to the finish line here, and across the line we go with our Corvette. And so something else to note is you don't actually have to come in first on all 3 of these races. So this is a championship, and with that, you just have to have more points than any of the drivatars. So you can see on the far right there, we got 20 points for coming in first. If I hit continue, this is the championship leaderboard, and this is where first place really matters. So this is what you have to be in first on at the end of the 3 races. Not each of the 3 races, but at the end of the 3 races. So it does matter where you finish. You do not have to come in first, though, in the races. So we'll take a better look at this after the second race, but we'll go ahead and jump into our next car and jump into that next race. All right, here we go with El Pla Scramble. This is the circuit race, and we are jumping into the 1972 Ford Falcon XA GT HO H0. I'm not sure which one it is. Let me know down below in the comments if you know. But this is actually a 4-door muscle car, as you can see it. And again, this is a stock color from the manufacturer. This is what I'm talking about, bright green, you know? Just absolutely love it. Looks like we got a sunroof too. That's a pretty nice feature. But the share code for the tune, along with the name of the tune and tuner's name, were up on the screen at the beginning of the race. And we're just to see what this thing can do. So we're just driving through the city right now. This is a dirt race, so we will get off-road at some point. I really wish that they would rename these dirt races to like something else, because some of them are not even majority dirt. So you know, whether it just be kind of like, I don't even know what you would call it, like I don't know, but yeah, alternate terrain, alternating terrain races, I don't know. Mixed terrain, that's probably what I'm looking for. That's what I want. But I really wish that they would kind of do something like that, 'cause some of these dirt races are like literal jokes, and they've been like, some of them in Horizon 4 were that same way, where you'd literally have 75%, 80% of a race that was asphalt, and then they would call it a dirt race because you were, you know, on dirt trails for 20% of a race. To me, that's more of an asphalt race than it is a dirt race, but that's just me. I think it's got better proportions here in Horizon 5, but still there are some that are majority asphalt. I think this one might be a good example of that. And I think, you know, moving away from the dirt series, unless it is just maybe all dirt, but I think mixed terrain might be a better, more accurate naming convention. But again, that's just me. I don't make the big bucks for the game, so but we are up into first, and to keep this video from being ridiculously longer than it needs to be, I'm just going to skip towards the end of our third lap. Unless anything interesting or funny happens in between, I will see you guys as we approach the finish line. All right, so we are approaching the end of this third lap here. This Falcon, man, it did really well. It's a good option. This is actually the cheapest option that you've got if you're buying these cars outright. Again, the Corvette that we used in the last race, we actually unlocked last week through the festival playlist. So if you got it, that's obviously a good option. But if you've got to buy a car, the Ford Falcon is your cheapest option to buy outright, at least from the auto show. I didn't check the auto house, or the auction house, but that thing worked really well. So you can see we got 20 more points here. If I hit continue, we are up to 40 in total on the championship, and we are 8 points ahead of second place. So see, that kind of gives you a better look of how that kind of works out a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into our last race and into our last vehicle. All right, here we go with our last race, Fiera del Camino Trail, and we are jumping into the 1968 Dodge Dart Hemi Super Sport, and that is a mouthful. So the share code for the tune and name of the tune and tuner's name will be up on the screen now. If you want to check this out, I don't know how this one's gonna go. The other two had off-road tires, This one is using its stock tires, so basically just on-road tires. We are in the rain as well, and I think this one was more powerful, so this might be an interesting race. We're going to have to be a little more conservative, I think. This thing is also an absolute boat, but some of this race is going to be on the road, which is where we could probably make up a lot of time. Like, obviously, we're already in the first, and now we're jumping off-road. We'll see how this thing does here. It's potentially not going to be the easiest thing to handle, but seems to be doing fine as long as I just don't absolutely gas it and turn at the same time. But little dabs of the e-brake are helping out through there. This is a pretty straight off-road trail right here. Okay. I am pleasantly surprised with how this thing is doing, actually. We're in that turn a little wide. We've got some mud through here. Okay. I'm not mad at it. I thought that this would be just kind of like an off-the-wall kind of pick. Just because the other ones had off-road tires, I figured that's probably what would be best for this event. But good old Dodge Dart has proven me wrong here, so that's good to see. Just have a little bit of understeer on the road, which is fine. I mean, it's just natural for all-wheel drive cars. But yeah, this thing's handling really well. Something I guess I should mention too is if you're doing these events, you do not have to use 3 different vehicles like I do. I do this just to provide some extra content and show you guys some extra options. So you can just pick one car and do all 3 of the races with them, and you'd be completely fine. So I try to make the options as viable as I can. So I tried to pick the cheapest option that I could find, being the Ford Falcon. The Chevy, I picked that Corvette because we unlocked it in last week's festival playlist, so a lot of people will probably have that. So that's a free option, technically, from there. And then this one I just kind of picked as a, let's see what this thing can do. And I think a lot of people probably already have this car, whether you know you've got it or not. I think it's pretty common in wheel spins. I think I've got 3 in my garage. So you may have it already, you may not. But I would say the Falcon's probably your best option if you're buying outright. The Corvette was really good. And then if you've got this one, it should work just fine with this tune on it. So there we go. First place there. That'll get us 20 more points and complete that championship for us. We absolutely killed the drivatars there. That is 11-second lead. So here we go. So 60 points in total, completes that championship. And if we hit continue, we will unlock that 2013 Aston Martin V12 Vantage. All right, but there we go. As we said, that is the orange and blue dirt racing championship here in the autumn season. To unlock the 2013 Aston Martin Vantage S. This thing is rather sick. I really like that color on it too. So definitely worth picking up. I'll be curious to see if we'll be able to use either this or the other car we can get, the 67 Corvette, next week in the Winter Festival playlist. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video or found it helpful. If you did either, definitely leave a like on the video. Definitely get subscribed for future Forza Horizon 5 content. I'll have the rest of the festival playlist videos going up on the channel throughout the rest of the day. So definitely stay tuned for those. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next video.